Hello everyone, welcome to another Digimon Explained video. My name is Jesse and... Oh, hold on. Should I call it Digimon Explained? Well, technically yes, except that this time we're going to be discussing the lesser known Appmon, which is still technically part of the Digimon Digital Universe. Now, as it is not known that much, obviously not many of you dared to write something when I announced this video in the Digimon Explained community page. To be honest, even if Appmon are less known, you will quickly come to understand that you'd end up knowing way more about Digimon when you get to know Appmon. That is why I'm here. I'll make sure to walk you through it. There was one particular comment in that one post which struck me the most. TGT Terrorizer 340 wrote the following: "From what I see in Appmon isn't really canon to the Digimon franchise." To which I have to reply with the following: how could they not? How can they not be a part of the same franchise? This is why I'm so happy to take my time to explore and explain all of you how great and especially how big the Digimon universe is and could be. This is also why I explained to my other fellow YouTuber Shadowshak in an interview, which can be found on this channel, that the Digimon franchise has basically infinite potential for storytelling and growth. Link of the interview is in the description box. Now let me explain how crazy and linked the Digimon and Appmon universes are by taking a little detour. To best explain the structure of the Digimon and Appmon universe, it is best that we first deconstruct it and look at its aspects one by one. Everything that is happening in the Digimon Digital Universe, from its stories to its links to other dimensions, to other places such as the Dark Area, to even the other confirmed digital life forms that are not Digimon, exist in what is known as the Net Ocean, which is the equivalent of the Internet. It is a large body of water that surrounds the digital world and is extremely huge. Let me tell you how huge. The Net Ocean is divided in 3 layers. The first layer is known as the surface web, the most surface part of the net oceans. It resembles an ocean and is filled with many continents and islands where each Digimon and Appmon species live, without forgetting that some other Digimon would be living in those oceans, and depending on which Digimon, it could be deep down below. These oceans have also these so-called gods who are in charge of its currents depending on the server. In the Digimon server Iliad, you have NeptuneMon. In the Appmon server, you have Poseidomon, the supreme ruler of the rough seas. Anyway, these islands are what us humans call servers. What you have to know is that a host computer is the master of, let us say, a collection of these islands. Call them continents for the sake of it. For example, when you take a look at the Digimon Adventure storyline from Season 1 to Season 2, when you take a look at Digimon Adventure V Tamer, even some of the games, the story happened in various places inside server continent. And in that continent you can find the Forests of the Gods, the World Wide Web continent, File Island and Folder continent. These places are all ruled by host computer Yggdrasil, who is responsible for managing the system, but only for those servers. That is why when the host computer found out that the server was too overpopulated, it decided to kill 98% of all existing Digimon via the use of the X program. But when it did so, not all servers were affected. For example, take a look at the other Digimon server, which is called Iliad, and that is ruled by the advanced lifeform Homerus and its 12 Olympian guards. None of them, not the Digimon residing in Iliad, would have or should have been affected by the X program, simply because that server would be outside of Yggdrasil's jurisdiction. It is up to Homerus to decide what should or should not be happening in its own areas, otherwise it might as well start a war against Yggdrasil's server. As the Appmon universe is also occupying important space on the surface web, we could assume that the same rules would apply to them. Meaning that it is possible that the Appmon servers are going to be controlled by an advanced lifeform. There's no doubt in my mind, although I could be wrong, that the artificial intelligence known as Minerva would be at the forefront. An artificial intelligence named after the Roman goddess of wisdom, who promised to help humanity solve economic and environmental problems, but by becoming smarter each day, it decided to ignore human rules. More on that in another video. I would also like to add that the digital universe is one that keeps on expanding, as some Digimon have space-time abilities and other dimensions simply exist with no real background story and may or may not be outside of the host computer's Yggdrasil and Homerus, their jurisdiction. There is, for example, the Digimon magical dimension WITCHELNY, which we explained on 2 occasions, link towards the videos in the description box, and there are also other dimensions, such as WIZARDMON, who created its own mysterious galaxy, or maybe even a whole universe. Are these universes also vulnerable to the host computer's might? That is a question. That was the first layer. The second layer in the digital universe is called the Deep Web. Largely a place that is left unexplored in the Digimon universe and also in the Appmon universe, although the Appmon universe gave a little more information on this. Essentially, to get access to the second layer, you'd have to get to the bottom of the surface web until you find what is known as Dante Gate entrance. It is a sealed door that can only be opened when Dantemon is successfully summoned, and we'll get into the details in another video. If one manages to get deeper into the depths of the deep web, he or she would get into what is known as the third layer, the dark web. In the Appmon universe, that is where the super artificial intelligence Leviathan lurks, a last boss artificial intelligence that aims to control the real world by spreading the L virus. We'll get into the details in a future video. In the third layer, the dark web, you also have by coincidence a Digimon that shares the same name to Leviathan. I'm talking about Leviamon. It sleeps in the deepest part of the net ocean and is so far below that the X program didn't even harm it. Truth is that none of the Digimon in the dark web were affected by the X program. So in short, by taking into account all the similarities between the Appmon universe and the Digimon universe, we can easily say that it is happening in the same digital universe, but on different servers with their own properties and characteristics. They have the same system of having different islands and continents. They have the same 3 layers, meaning the surface web, the deep web and the dark web, so for sure they are quite linked. But again, the digital sphere is big and will obviously keep on expanding, but doesn't mean that the components such as Appmon and Digimon cannot be brought together under a same umbrella. Don't forget that an Agumon managed to get into the Appmon space, digivolve into Wargreymon and fight with the same skill sets and abilities, showing that the 2 universes are in fact linked. So now that we know that both Digimon and Appmon can certainly coexist in the same universe, what are Appmon? You see, Digimon stands for digital monsters. These are life forms of various forms living in a parallel universe that originated from Earth's various communication networks. Appmon stands for App Monsters, a life form similar to Digimon that are related to smartphone apps. For more context, the story of Appmon takes place in the year 2045, a year where technology has finally evolved to a degree of prosperity for the world and where the World Wide Web has become a world for app monsters, artificially intelligent beings born within mobile apps. Wesley Guerrero wrote the following: I feel Appmon are to Digimon like phone apps are to computer applications. They are the same ideas on different operating systems or programming languages. Appmon are smaller but faster and better coding. Digimon come from the beginning of computers, starting from data, virus and vaccine coding, and are more highly susceptible to hacking, editing and corruption as they incorporate data into themselves to grow and evolve. As Appmon are new species, obviously they are not going to function nor always look like their Digimon brethren. There are quite a few differences and some similarities, some of which will be explained in another dedicated video. Appearance-wise, I would personally go as far as to say that there are no big major differences between Appmon and Digimon. Heck, some Appmon and Digimon even look alike. Take the Digimon Witchmon and the Appmon Warudamon, they look alike. Or the Appmon Mirrormon, who appears to be the Appmon version of the Digimon legendary warrior AncientWisemon, who saved the ancient digital world by paying with its own life. The biggest difference is that most Appmon have these sort of retractable cables somewhere on their body. These are used to link with other Appmon in a process called Applink, a process where 2 Appmon connect their cables to fuse and become stronger. Appmon fuse instead of digivolve. They combine their data to become a stronger being. Unfortunately for you guys, I will also have to discuss this process in a separate video because I'd like to do a proper comparison between Digimon and how they evolve and how Appmon evolve. Because Appmon are quite complex in that process. Appmon fuse, but are also classified in 7 types, some of which are strong against or weak to another. So the question remains how that will work out for the Appmon fusion. All of these will be discussed in another video, but what I'd like to share is that there is a similarity that was quite interesting. You see, Appmon have 4 levels: Standard, Super, Ultimate and God. God is the equivalent of a Mega level Digimon. All God Appmon have a disc-like halo hovering near its back. And the deity Digimon Susanumon has also a similar looking disc on its back, showing once more how closely related Appmon and Digimon are. Another difference between Appmon and Digimon is that Digimon can immediately materialize in the real world. Appmon cannot. In the real world, they take the shape of an Appmon chip specific to them. Through the use of a device such as an app drive, they can app realize, which is their term to say that an Appmon materialized. Milos Stoisic made some very interesting points about Appmon. The following was written. It is unclear if they have a Digitama and baby stage. Also, it is unknown if they are going through a reincarnation process after they die. They also possess basic biological needs such as food, drink and sleep. Also, their existence make another question. Is it possible for Digimon to evolve to Appmon and vice versa? About Appmon being defeated or dying, I can say the following. If they are defeated in battle, they will become a chip and retreat to the nearest app drive, which is a Digivice but for Appmon. If an Appmon dies, it can be resurrected as many times as possible only if their data survives. If not, well, who knows? No dark area has been confirmed yet, or maybe there is a dark area. Well, sort of. You see, there's an Appmon called Hadesmon, said to be the king of the underworld and governs over destruction and regeneration. That underworld has yet to be explored, and Hadesmon's role in that underworld has also yet to be explained thoroughly. Maybe it has a similar role to Anubismon, the digital world's judge and the one who has powers as mighty as to decide the rebirth of a Digimon. There are a great many mysteries concerning Appmon, and I can tell you already that the developers have yet to make it grow bigger. But to reply to those who claim that Appmon are sort of like subspecies to Digimon, I have to say that I don't agree, because in a way it puts Appmon in a sort of inferior position, as they would be ranked immediately below Digimon. Appmon did not come to be because of Digimon. They came to be because the net ocean, the internet, is expanding. It is growing bigger, and in the process it creates new life, either directly or indirectly related to one another. And that is why I said that the Digimon universe has limitless potential in terms of growth and stories and whatnot. Here is another good comment which explains why it is best not to see Appmon as a subspecies of Digimon, but rather as their equal in their own right. Wesley Guerrero wrote the following. I wonder if Appmon are related to the Olympus 12, as many of the god-level Appmon share their names with members of the Olympus 12. In my brief research of Appmon, I've seen too many similarities between them and Digimon, and this will bring some interesting theories and potential stories. This will make doing research even much cooler and exciting. And to be honest, I'd like to dig deeper into the lore just to figure out what the differences and similarities are. Don't forget what I said, Digimon has limitless potential. It could go any way. So I'm very excited to see where it will go. Hey guys, this is the end of the first Appmon video on this channel. A short one, but sometimes short is a good thing. I do have to say that I'm really excited to go about and check it out. I didn't want to put too much in this video. I mostly wanted to explain what Appmon are and how connected they are to Digimon. And now that that is out of the way, we can finally get deeper into the different Appmon out there and hopefully hype it up, make it more known and showing that Appmon are appreciated. So let me know what you think of Appmon's universe. Let me know what other subjects you want me to tackle, and make sure to subscribe because I will need all of you to explore the Appmon universe as well as the Digimon universe. And I'm not joking. I love to use your comments. They are needed because they give me different points of view that I may not have found by myself. That's why I love to consult the Digimon brethren. Now, in case you guys are new, know that all videos are placed in particular Digimon playlists, or in this case, Appmon playlists. That way you can catch up on newer and older videos.